Some quick yeah-nahs. Are the Suns the most disappointing team of this season so far, Jez? Yeah-nah.
Oh, I'd have to say almost, yeah.
7 and 8 ahead of St Kilda, who are 6 and 9.
Which should
They're
be
just
second place, to be honest.
set by injuries.
Yeah.
GWS is 6 and 9 as well. They've sort of had a few injuries here and there as well, but it just sort of feels like they've just gone a bit meh. Whereas the Suns, like the way they started the season, where you're like, this is awesome. They're going to be unbeatable. Oh, and then they just
and coming off such a big year last year, where everything looked like they were heading in the upwards direction quickly, and then they made all the moves they made in the off season. And as I've mentioned last week, I think that's probably what's hurt them now. It obviously helped them early when they were running, but now that they've had injuries and form drops, those sort of role players that they've traded out to get all the big fish in are the ones that would be filling the gaps where they need them now. And so I would say that the three teams we just mentioned were probably the top three, but yeah, you'd have to go with the Suns at the moment, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I've written this quite literally like, hang on. Did I already call this? Because will Freo actually not lose again, Jez? Yeah, nah. Round 17 GWS in Canberra. Always a bit tricky, but still. Round 18, Sydney at home in Optus Stadium. Bring back Optus Oval, he says.
It's still there.
It is. It's just down the road. It's Icon Park. Round 19, Port Adelaide at Adelaide. West Coast in a derby, I think they call it, don't they? Again, obviously at Optus. Western Bulldogs at home, Optus Stadium. Melbourne at the G, round 22.
Saturday afternoon fixture.
That is an interesting one too. Adelaide, round 23, again though, at home at Optus Stadium. And then over here in round 24 for my beloved Blues and Marvel. At which point I'm like, hey, you guys should rest everybody. Because, maybe we might need to win this one. I'm just saying.
Stranger things have happened, Jim.
They have. I think it's actually happened.
If I say...
and I think it was against Fremantle.
If I say nah, does that mean nah, they're not going to lose again? Or yeah.
Will they not lose again?
Yeah, nah. Okay. I think they will. I think they'll drop one, and I think it'll either be Melbourne at the G because it's a Saturday Arvo game at the G, or Carlton at Marvel. Not just because Carlton are going to win the flag, but because they'll have top spot and home finals sewn up well and truly by them, because I can't see them losing to the next five. But I can see them getting done by Melbourne, and I can see them resting a whole heap of players. And because that'll give it, especially if they've got injury, if they pick that, they haven't got an injury at the moment, Jim. They've got no injuries. They've got Sam Sturt, who is a test. So that's their only player on the injury. It's ridiculous. But I can see them going, okay, well, XXX have got niggles. Let's put them aside for a week because they're going to have that week. Then they're going to have the wild card week. So they're going to have 2 weeks to potentially freshen up a whole heap of players who are, maybe feeling it a bit. And the weather's getting better, all that sort of stuff. So I reckon they'll go for a freshen up. So that could be one of those 2 games. I could definitely see them dropping, and that could be why.
Yeah. I think, like the Sydney, like I talked about the round 18 Sydney clash a little while ago, right? Like how big that game was going to be. It's still a big one, but I think the way that Sydney have sort of been tracking with a bunch of their injuries, it's sort of a lot tougher to imagine them beating them over there at this point. So I'm still going to go with my prediction that they just don't lose again for the entire year and they run rampant. They're one of the greatest teams we've ever seen. Top 5 Brownlow at the moment. What do you reckon, Jez? We talked about this quickly last week. And I haven't looked at any odds. I didn't look at anything. I'm just like rattled this off the top of my head. I'm like, what have I watched this week? This year. Who do I think the top 5 are right now? I wrote down Nakos, Bont, Bailey Smith, Heaney, and Butters in that order. And I have no idea what the odds are, so
I'm
I
gonna
will
I'm gonna have a quick squiz now while we're
check that
chatting.
now.
But I'll tell you what, you've nailed the top four in order.
Oh, not bad.
So
Good
we've got
side.
Nicky D at 260. We've got the Bont at 6, Bailey Smith at 10, Isaac Heaney at 10. And then in number 5, and this is a yeah now that I've thrown in there, is can the Unicorn win the Brownlow? And he's actually, Luke Jackson is the number 5 at $13. Then we've got
Ah,
Jordan Dawson and Zach Butters at $18 a pop. That's according to
I,
Sportsbet odds.
Jordan Dawson being in there doesn't surprise me, but I think he's had a couple of like weird little, not as great ones. Like he was so good in that Geelong game, and then just off the boil a bit in this last. Anyway, yeah. To answer the can Luke Jackson win the Brownlow? Yeah, nah. If there was going to be another ruckman who did, it's probably him. So can he? Yes. Will he? Probably not.
Not this year.
The simple idea. Not this year. I think it's almost taking they're so dominant, they're so good. And there's not too many other players on that team that are going to be stealing the 3 votes a lot of the time for when he's playing these really good games. I think that it's more the impact of his really good games. Like he's not putting up giant stat lines a lot of the time. They're like, what did he have? He had like a career high like 2 weeks ago.
It was 28 or something like that, yeah.
He's like impacting the game like at ground level, sort of doing all these little bits. And so when he is good, like there's probably not too many challenges for his 3 points, but I think it's hard to sort of pass out across how many have they won straight now? Is it 15? It's like absolutely absurd.
Yeah, would be.
And there's probably
14 straight, I believe. Hang
14.
on. Because they haven't lost since round opening one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think there's probably at least, 4 games in there, 4 or 5, where he's probably
14
the best
and 1
on
they are, yeah. So they're 14 wins straight, which is
insane.
Remarkable.
Yeah, so I'd say he's probably got 3 best on grounds, and he's probably still like in the top 3 votes for a lot of them. So yeah, he's not a bad look for at least a top 5, but I don't know if he's going to win it because I think Dacos is probably just.
I can't see anyone. I think Nick Dacos will have votes in every game he played. He should have votes in every game, like regardless of whether the umpires look at the stats or not. The reality is that every game he's played in has either been best on ground for Collingwood, or at least in the top 2. So he's. I would almost go as far as saying he will get a vote in every game.
Yeah.
I can't think of any games that they've been smashed in though where he wouldn't get a vote. That's all.
I think he'd be streets ahead at this point.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he might have already won it.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Round 17 preview. We start off with an absolute cracker as well down at Taxpayer Stadium as Geelong host Brisbane, and they're 14.5-point favourites. So Brisbane did beat the absolute bejesus out of the Cats there last year at this exact same time last year. It was like my birthday last year. And I'm seeing a bit of that and going, whoa, that's pretty funny. And they killed him 92-51. Prior to that, they lost by 10 points in 2022. I don't really think that matters. 81-80 in 2021. So they don't mind throwing the Lions down there at GMHBA, but still, it's not exactly as though it's every year. 14.5 points. Can the Cats, coming off the bye, at home, Bailey Smith back, possibly Tom Stewart back as well from his concussion, a rampant Lions team, what do we reckon, Jez? 14.5.
I am going to take the Lions to cover that for 2 reasons. Because I think the Lions are heading rapidly in the upward direction, but also Geelong's record after the bye is not great. I think it's probably a bit better in recent years, but given where Brisbane are as far as the way they're playing, and given how Geelong were playing before the bye, and the injury issues that they've had, even if they get those players back, they're probably not so much Bailey Smith, but Tom Stewart, he's a TBC, so he is a very important cog there. But if Brisbane, and I know they will because Fagan's absolutely brilliant, they'll work out how to keep him quiet. And if they can do that, I think if of any player that a team relies on, Tom Stewart is probably relied on too much for Geelong, because you see what the impact is when he goes out. It takes him a week or two to get right, and even then they're not. But even if they have him in the team and they've set their game style around him, if teams work out a way to keep him quiet, it affects Geelong really quickly, and they struggle to come back from it. So I reckon this one's going to be an absolute cracker, or Brisbane are going to smash him.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a GMHBA makes me think it's probably going to be a very close game.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm going to take the 14.5 as well.
Yeah.
Like, this is the second grand final rematch already this season as well, isn't it?
And Brisbane got smashed. Sorry, Geelong smashed him in the last one up in Brisbane.
It was the Sean Manor 5-goal game, wasn't it?
That was 5 weeks ago.
It wasn't long ago at all.
It feels like it was last 2 weeks.
That's so weird. Anyway, both going Brisbane. Sydney hosts the Western Bulldogs on Friday. That's a fun one too. They're 19.5-point favourites. The Dogs also coming off the bye. The Swans, I mean, a valiant effort, I guess, at the Gabba, just not quite as good as the Lions. I kind of want to take the Dogs in this one as well, Jez, as an underdog at 19.5.
I'm going to take the Dogs too, because I think Sydney will probably still win, but I think that their injuries, they've got to take a toll. They already are taking a toll, but I don't think they're going to be as rampant as they have been. The big one will be is whether the Dogs can do what Brisbane did to Brodie Grundy. So if Tinglish can have a similar impact in that he either breaks even or gets a slight advantage over him, I think that'll be a massive key to this game. So, but I reckon the Dogs can probably keep it under that 9.5. We'll go with that.
Yeah. Charlie kicked 7 against them back in round 7, I think it was. And that was a marvel. Now, this is obviously at the SCG. I just think the Dogs, they look really solid against the Saints. They get the week off to freshen up. Sydney, just a little bit walking wounded. As you said, I reckon the Swans can still win it, but I think the Dogs are right there with them. Should be a
Dogs are a good chance.
Then we're going to double header on the Friday night. So we've got West Coast Adelaide at, what's that?
Optus
10 at Optus Stadium. Eagles are 28.5-point underdogs against the Crom. I'm going to go the Crom with a bit of a big bounce back shellacking of the Eagles, flying all the way back. And I think, the Crows settle into just a bit of a whomping.
See, this is a danger one because West Coast were okay and have been okay for the last few weeks, and Adelaide were ordinary. So everything says I should pick West Coast to cover, but Adelaide, after a horrible loss, are they come out spitting venom, and I just don't think West Coast have got the defence to shut down Adelaide's forward line. So I'm going to go with Adelaide to smash them. Yeah, I reckon if Fogarty plays the same way, he might kick 10.
Yeah, it was 87-78 last year in August. Eagles, this is but when the Crom sort of turn the corner, were absolutely smashing teams, and Eagles are a little bit trickier at home. Get them at Adelaide Oval, and the Crom have just absolutely smoked them each time. But a little bit trickier. But I don't know. I feel like Adelaide just put them to the sword. So you're taking the Crom as well? Yeah,
I'll take the Crom.
Saturday, down in Tassie, Hawthorn, Melbourne. Hawks are 14.5-point favourites in Lornie. That's a tricky one. 14.5 is annoying.
I just wonder how much the Wizard is going to impact the scoreline. I think I'm going to take the Hawks. I think the Hawks will win it, and I think it's just a crap line. If it was 10.5, I'd take the Demons, if it was 20.5, I'd be all over the Hawks. But I don't know. I think it's I'm
going to take the D's.
If it was 20.5, I'd be all over Melbourne. But 10.5, I'd be right in the Hawthorn. But it's a bit of an odd one. But I'll go with the Hawks. I think that even if James Sicily gets a bit cold and grumpy, they'll probably be okay.
Have you ever seen a man wear two long sleeve tops on the?
There was boys when I was playing for Sebastopol in the Ballarat League that used to wear they used to get the garbage bags and they cut a hole in them, put them underneath their jumpers and run out there with the garbage bag underneath their jumpers. Craziest thing I've ever seen.
That's Sebast for you.
Oh, yeah.
GWS hosting Freo. So this one's in Canberra and they're 19.5-point underdogs at home, the Giants. I kind of want to take GWS. I think this is like one of those squirrely ones where the Giants didn't look too much chop this week. Down at the G against the Hawks. Sort of missing a few dudes here and there. Freo in Canberra, though, that's the sort of one thing that gives me a little bit of a pause. Having just talked up Freo about not losing, I think they probably still win. But 19.5 just feels like a few too many for me here, Jez.
You'd probably want the Hawthorn line for Fremantle here, wouldn't you? 14.5 it'd just about do it. I'm going to go with Fremantle. So I think Fremantle will. There's gonna be a game where they actually kick straight. Like their kicking for goal is horrible. If this is the game, they could win by 8 goals quite easily. And I reckon that even if they don't kick straight, I reckon they'll probably still win by 4 or 5 goals. I'll set it up early and just coast. So I'm going to go with the Dockers. Fragmental? Maybe cut that out, Jim.
That's all right. 89-69 last time they played in Canberra. Freo won. Interesting. I'll take GWS. Come on.
You got to peg them back, Jim. You got to peg them back.
Pull a few back here. Gold Coast hosting the Pies. Somehow 8.5-point favourites. And I was so disappointed when I saw this line. I'm like, are you serial? I was hoping we'd get underdog Suns here and I'd feel good about taking them. I'm still going to take my beloved Suns because I'm a sucker for punishment. But if they don't win this one,
they're done.
It's just like, put a cross in them there. It's all over. Like, what are we doing? 8.5 is annoying. It probably should be a lot shorter, I would say. I'd probably say this should be about 4.5 if you want to make the Suns favourites. 8.5 is annoying, but if they can do it, they should do it a little bit better than that. So let's go my beloved Suns. How about you, Jez?
Yeah, I'm going to go with your beloved Fold Coast Suns as well and hope that they don't fold because am I though? No, you know what? I'm going to go for Collingwood because I think the problem is, Jim, is if this is a close game, I can see Gold Coast doing exactly what our good man, our friend of the show, Dave Klitsch, has said and fold. If they're up by a ton at, let's say, 6 goals plus at three-quarter time, well, you would like to think they wouldn't lose from there. But if Collingwood are within, let's say, 3 goals, for example, I think they'll win it. So I'm going to go with Collingwood.
Like it. The Suns have won the last 2 games up there as well. They actually only play up there at the moment. They've only played...
They were a different team, though, when they won those 2 games. They had confidence.
Above the 27th parallel. The last 4 times they've actually played the Pies and the Suns, it's been up there. Come on, Suns. Give me something. Tigers Blues. Can Carlton win 7 on the trot? I think they can. It's going to be a painful watch, but 35.5, I think.
Is this Saturday night, Tim?
This is Saturday night. So I think we've got the double header on Saturday again. I'll check what time that one is.
Because there's not enough time slots. We don't on the Saturday night because we've got 2 games on Saturday afternoon. We've got a 1:15 and a 1:35 on Saturday, Arvo. Because that's what everyone needs when they're out at local footy and doing other things during the day on a Saturday anyway.
So 7:35 at the G, Tigers home game, which must mean the Carlton game earlier this year was a Carlton home game. Didn't realise that. Anyway, 35.5 is this line. I feel like it's a bit much for a Carlton team, but I think I never actually, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I did switch my pick to Carlton this week against the West Coast Eagles. If you check the graphic, I don't think I actually ran it by the Brains Trust at that point. I just chucked it on the graphic. Just remembered that.
I'm pretty sure I'm ahead, so whatever.
Doesn't matter. I think that was the only one, maybe. That was 32.5, and for a long time in that game, it felt, I don't know if they're going to get there, and then they obviously piled it on with those last 3 goals very late. I kind of think the Blues are playing with a little bit more confidence at the moment, so maybe I'll take them to cover the 35.5 against the Tigers. But as you pointed out, the Tigers aren't losing by giant amounts at the moment. So what do you reckon, Jez?
I'm going to take the Blue Flaggers to... I think this one will be a big one. I think this will be a 70+. I think the Tigers have been competitive for 3 or 4 weeks, and they always seem to, and I'm going to do my research here, but they've been competitive since their bye, let's say, Jim, which was when?
Yeah, they were good against Brisbane, right?
25 to in an ordinary game against North. Yes, like you said, they were 35 to Brisbane. I think they had the bye the week before that, which they also lost to. And then just before the bye, they were belted by 114 points against Sydney. So I think they've been up for 3 weeks, and I think that it might be time to for their young, inexperienced team to probably lay down their sword to a rampant 2026 premiership team in Carlton.
I just hope they win this, and I think we go to Queensland, I want to say on Monday.
Oh.
It'd be really nice for them to send us off with a bit of a win here. So
yeah,
we're taking the Blues. Essendon, 29.5 point underdogs against the Saints. That's a really interesting one on Sunday. Can the Bomb Rays keep it close against the Saints team that's lost Jack Sinclair, no TDK? It's a lot of Naz, Cal Wilkie, and I don't know. I think the Bombers can keep that one close, can't they?
Yeah, I reckon we can. I reckon it. I'm going the Bombers to cover.
Yeah.
I hate saying that if we're ever going to pinch one, this one's there for the taking, because so was the North Melbourne game. But it's as good a chance for us to win a game as any. St Kilda have a lot of injuries. They're not playing that well. And it could quite easily be like what I've predicted the Carlton game and be a 70, 80, 100 point thumping. But I reckon we're going to cover. I reckon we're going to run them all the way to the end. So Bombers, Jim, give me my Dons. I'll have a little bit of faith. I might even consider going to this one too.
It'd be fun. That's a couple of Marvel tenants.
The best thing ever. I got quite a few St Kilda fans pretty angry with me one day. I went with I went with a St Kilda supporter who got us tickets in the St Kilda supporters area. Now, I never was particularly fond of Stephen Mill. He did play reserves at Essendon, and I can't remember what he did. He did something, was having an ordinary game, and I, as I tend to do, got up and told him that I was glad Essendon got rid of him. Geez, the St Kilda supporters, they just turned the venom. I think I even got accused of calling him something to do with inappropriate behaviour towards females, which I did not say a word, but I had to explain. I said, mate, I actually just said I didn't like the way he played footy, and this particular bloke, he ended up getting up and leaving because of me, and I went, all power to you, brother. People were complaining about, I think someone said something to me about, what are you doing in the Saint supporters area? And I said, write a letter to Ticketek. So yeah, I was enjoying myself. I probably would have been a little bit different if Essendon weren't winning the game quite comfortably, but it was one of those seasons that St Kilda started off like a house on fire and then just went, psh.
Oh.
Yeah, so, but the best thing about St Kilda games is when they're losing, and not from a St Kilda supporter type, is that they just go home. Half time, 3/4 time, there's like a mass exodus at Marvel, and all of a sudden Southern Cross Station is full of St Kilda scarves that are, left on the ground. It's hilarious. Like no other team. They're just like, you know what? It's happened again. Let's go home, love.
I love that. Good on him.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, so for shits and giggles, I might even go along and have a bit of a laugh if we do happen to keep it close or get up. So
some more havoc.
yeah.
Right, and then we have to finish off the round, a full round, which is nice. Port Adelaide at home against the Roos, 14.5-point favourites of the Power all of a sudden. And I feel like this is more. Is this more about North Melbourne being away from home
and
than
looking
anything?
pretty ordinary against a pretty ordinary team? Yeah, I think it might. Well, when Port Adelaide play a game like that, Jim, how could you possibly pick against them with a line like that against North? Like, if they turn up and play the same way again, North don't stand a chance. They'll have the power of whatever they are, Army or on. You know, they're a pretty vocal crowd when they want to be, and
I believe that the Roos haven't beaten anybody who's above 11th on the ladder this year as well, right? And so Port are firmly in the Roos' sights as like a team below them on the ladder. And I just think the problem might be them away because you go back. They played them in round one, but they were at Marvel. North then lost at Optus Stadium. They lost at Barossa at Gather Round. They lost at Manuka against GWS. They lost to Geelong at GMHBA. They lost to Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. Like, if you're detecting a theme here, it's because there is one.
And got belted there too.
Yep, and belted by Freo at Hands Oval at...
that was a home game though, Jim.
Home game, Bunbury. Killed. They did win that 1-point game against the Eagles at Optus Stadium the week after.
Game was a home game.
And yeah, they did beat the Tigers at the G in round 15, but that's 2 weeks ago.
Not really an away game, is it?
I don't know. This is a really interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Power. Because I think surely they can't go from being so good against a quality team who we thought were on their way up to being ordinary to the point where they get beaten by North at home. I can't see it. I don't. There's nothing that I saw in North Melbourne. One thing North do have that is in form is their defence.
Yeah,
their defence was what won them the game, and obviously, you know, Harry Sheasel and Caleb Daniel having 80 million possessions. But I think, the North's defence is very solid. They've still got a few things to work out. I think it's forward of the ball that they break down a little bit. Their forward line is a bit hit and miss. And likewise, Port Adelaide, their defence was the driver for the win on Saturday. So they do have a bit more. If Mitch Georgiadis can actually kick straight, they could win by 10 goals. It could be over by half time. If Butters and the Hornet have another, couple of blinders, which if it's at home, Horn Francis is better at home than he is away. So, yeah, I think Port will win this easily, to be honest with you.
I'll pay that. I like it. You made a good argument.
Thank you.
I'm going to take the Roos. I'm taking the Roos. Can you make a coherent argument as to why, Jim? No, I can't, because we're an hour and a half into the show, and I'm just like,
bang.
I feel like the 14.5 is like the thing that sort of gets me. It could be like, I feel like it might also, if they lose, it could be the opposite of like this week's win over Essendon, right? Where they Port sort of just limp to the win by like 14, and North still cover. I am very worried though. The North away from home. I can't. Like the plus 14.5 is just sticking with me though. So I think I'll take the plus for a team that keeps beating the teams below them on the ladder. I'll take that, and I'm not going to like it that much. So I think that leaves us with 4 different this week, which is kind of nice.
Could be interesting. Yeah,
it's going to be the end of my run, or I'm back in it. I think, because I think you're up by about 4 or 5 now. I've got to get the final tally. I updated the before, but I didn't get the totals. So there you go. So Jez is in the beers at the moment. He's beer positive, which is good.
Thirsty guy too, Jim. Very thirsty.
Sleevo's Punters Club. Best looking thing I'm going at for round, 17. Cozzy, 25 plus and 2 goals down in Tassie. Be interesting to see how he goes. I think against the Hawks, I think he has been he's had like this bit of a roller coaster, like the last 6 weeks, and I feel like we get a big Cozzy game out of nowhere, and he goes a whack. Flip side would be to also go with Nakos with another 30-2 up against the do no defense Suns at the moment. So yeah, I think you could even pair those up, and I'd feel pretty good about it.
You get a pretty healthy number for that, I think.
I reckon. So the 2 goals for Cozzy as well is like the interesting one, but I think the way that if they're going to win, and I've tipped them obviously to at least keep that one close against the Hawks, he's going to be a really, really, really big part of it. So let's go Cozzy, and then Nakos 30-2 as well.
And how'd you go with last week's bet, Jim?
That was such a horrible game. So 174.5 with the North Essendon over. Not even close. They broke my heart.
I don't think you've hit one of those game overs yet.
I think I hit the first one, which was ironically Essendon North back in round 3. So
okay,
but I've missed.
But since then, I think it's
Essendon, it's like none of the team overs have hit. So it's been shocking, I'll tell you. Anyway, so there's a couple of good ones though. I did like the. I really enjoyed that North Essendon over this week. As I turned on the TV at Grandma's, I'm just like,
it's not happening.
I'm like, this is brutal. Yeah. So not happy. Anyway, what's yours there, Jez?
I'm going to double up my last week one. So last week I had Harry McFive and Cripper for 25 and a goal. We got the 25 and a goal, but Harry kicked 3-1. I'm going to back that in again because I think that this week, surely he's going to kick a bag. And I reckon Cripps is a Monty for 25 and a goal playing against Richmond. I think he might even have that by half time. So this bet may pay out by half time as well.
I think Harry at the G as well is always like an interesting one because if he's on and he's on early, he can absolutely kick a bag against a bad team. So I'm surprised with the one.
Richmond are a bad team.
That's right. I think the interesting one would be, I guess, for the Blues, like the sneaky ones that they keep sort of throwing out there is like the Mitch McGovern 2+. Keep an eye on that one. So I think especially against the Tigers, I think he was really good in round 1, especially early. I think he kicked like 4 in that game. I think 3 of them were really early.
Not 2 goals, 15 like Tom Lynch.
Yeah. Anyway, he won us that game. It was amazing.
Good on you, Tom.
There you go. That's it. Unbelievable. We finally got
marathon. Jeepers.
Had a lot to talk about, I guess. Not really. It was just me rabbiting on about the Blues, which tracks. So that's it, though. Round 16 in the bag. Got a third of the season left. Makes you sad, sort of, but the finals now go for 2.5 years, so it should be pretty okay, I reckon. Anyway, big weekend ahead. So I'll be up in Queensland next week for this show. So I'll try to sequester myself away in a room and jump on the old dog and bone with your man Jez and talk it all out. But you can still follow us on all the socials, etc. The power rankings are obviously a massive hit. Please
be kind.
Just be smart. All I ask.
Be kind.
Oh God, it's great.
Love one another. Come on. Too much negativity in the world, Jim.
I love the interaction, but Jesus, we are smartest brains football podcast in the world, obviously. So, anyway, make sure you also subscribe on your podcast apps, your YouTube, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Jump in the comments, send us through any nahs, any DMs, just smash them through. We're always there, lurking, hanging out. Anything else there, Jez?
I think that's it. Just get around the footy, get around the Bombers to cover. Come on,
love it.
Come on.
I'm very much looking forward. I love going to Queensland. Like we take my folks each year when we go up there too. So the old man and I usually sort of try to find a pub where we can watch the Carlton game.
Mm-hmm.
2 Carlton games. We've been up there for 2 weeks, I think, the last couple of years. And I love watching footy in a different state. It is great. Like because you either have people who really care about it, or
not at all.
It's amazing. It's so much fun. So I can't wait to get up there. So if you're in Mission Beach for the next couple of weeks, come say good day to the bloke with his big red beard. Yeah. Weather up there in Queensland is not great, so it might be 2 weeks sitting in a cabin in a caravan park. But
watching a lot of reruns of Carlton Premiership.
Should be awesome.
Videos.
The 95, he's got the 95 premiership behind him as well because it's got the AFL patch on it as well, right? So that'd be the
bang on. So you've got your man David Parkin there with who was your captain that year? Sticks Kernahan. Yep.
One of the great voices in all of AFL.
Sometimes it's hard to be a woman.
I love it. All right, until next week. Stay off the rubbish gear. This is Footy Unfilterated. I'll use the words good. Footy Unfilterated.
That's what we do here, Jim.
See you.
Just dust and cobwebs, dust and cobwebs.